What would you say are the best practice actions or tips that we banks should take into account to make successes of the projects we run with you? But please, very specific, like very specific, concrete things that we should do to make that a success.
I'll throw out a couple of things. One is, don't let us get stuck in middle management. Get a C-suite sponsor for any of this sort of stuff at an early stage, because otherwise the politics of it make it last forever, as one. If I were to say a second one, I would start with the end in mind. Don't just be saying, oh, it would be nice to try this out. We got 50,000 and we do 10 POCs a year. You're going to be one of our 10 POCs, congratulations. That's not good for us and it's not good for you. Try to, again, by bringing in somebody from the C-suite who truly will be an advocate for this from installation through to what we would expect as a deployment, already be laying out the business case with us so that if we are successful, we roll out. I mean, I've just finished a POC where we got a 90% conversion from email to our platform and a 50% reduction in incoming client calls. You'd think that would be pretty good. And we were told we're the best POC ever. But there's going to be a 3 or 4 month period now between that POC shutting down to very unhappy clients to us rolling out an enterprise version. I mean, this is not a good thing. And really, again, back to that, start with the end in mind and actually think about the POC, not just like this is a nice event, we do 10 a year, isn't that good? We've reached our targets, I get my bonus. There should be something about that these things are seen as part of a larger deployment, even from the beginning. But I think it needs a C-suite sponsor to be successful from the very beginning. Otherwise, you're wasting time.
And just to add to that, I think a C-suite sponsor is definitely necessary, but we should think also about almost a sense of redundancy there. If the people change and if the names in the frame are slightly different, if you can do our bidding for us internally, that would be of great assistance, because you can get swept up, as Doug mentioned, speaking to many different parties, potentially many different parts of the world, to try and curry favour, and having that sort of consistency across the piece, whether one individual or more, would be fantastic. And then I think there's probably more we can do to ask the right questions of you up front, which is the budget available to spend on this? Where does the buy-in exist for this to happen, and what should the success criteria be? And if we meet those criteria, what next? And sometimes I think we, maybe as Fintechs, are keen to jump into the process, exciting names and exciting process, and perhaps are not as forceful as we could be to say, what would it take to get us over the line?
And I'll just add to that. I think this getting the institutions trying to be agile so I know it's really hard, right? But trying to think agile themselves in the sense that get the right team members together. So get the right people from the business, from the right functions that are in place to get to that outcome that Douglas talked about. So you know what the journey is. Please plan for continuity, because the times where you talk to somebody and they've left, and it takes 6 months to find a conversation with the right person again, because of the organisation, is a real practical challenge, and that time is what kills small businesses. It just kills them, literally. And I think part of thinking, agile and creatively is also, some really good examples have come through institutions when they've looked at different solution providers who do very specific things and said, if I combine those 3 or 4 people together, I've got a much more powerful, strategic, scalable solution for me. And that's the best engagement, because they're thinking strategically about where this is going to go. It's not just an innovation product, taking innovation mode, but it's really integrated into the business and the thinking, and that innovation function with the business function is integrated. And that really has value, because it makes us more valuable to that institution and to the marketplace, and it also helps to stimulate the kind of thinking and conversations that we all should be having anyway.
I mean, one of the values that I bring to the sales process is that because we're so small, I was the only sales guy for the first 12 months, which meant I met the C-suite in New York, Zurich, Singapore, London. And I had a unique picture of the world. I wasn't like the sales guy for JP Morgan living my life in New York. I was the guy who actually talked to these peers. And I was able to, which was great from a product perspective, because I could see what was in common, what was required, what was the priorities around the world. And think of us also as a resource in this sense, because we are looking at the world very differently, hence we're startups. And you know, you will get a different view of the world if you decide to engage with us. Some of it you might discard, but there will be gems amongst all that information because of the way that we engage with the world is different from your other existing suppliers.
One more piece to add. I think it's also very important as an institution to look at your own approach towards risk. So this idea that risk and innovation will mean risk, it will mean failure, it will mean success down the road as well. So just to try and change that internal culture, I think is quite critical too.